Good evening, everyone. I'll call the City Council to order at 8 p.m. on Monday, June 3rd, 2024. This meeting is being recorded. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. We have 19 items on this evening's agenda, and I will ask the clerk to please read agenda item number 1.
Minutes of the City Council meeting, May 20th, 2024.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the minutes.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed, 11-0. Agenda item number 2.
Now is the time for the public hearing on the petition of Mass Electric and Verizon New England to install one joint-owned pole on D'Angelo Drive at a point approximately 568 feet southwest of the center line of the intersection of Cedar Hill Street. Install 50 feet of C1.2 midspan, pole number 2-50 between poles 2 and 3. 25 kVA transformer fused at 10 will be installed on new midspan pole, order number 24-100-9177. In addition, we have a communication from City Engineer Thomas DePercio regarding recommended conditions for the petition for Mass Electric and Verizon New England, D'Angelo Drive.
Thank you. So this public hearing will be taken in 4 stages. First, with the public speaking in favor. Second, questions from the public. Third, public speaking in opposition. And finally, questions from the City Council. So we'll open the first part of the public hearing with the public speaking in favor, starting with the applicant. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Jeffrey Silver. I work out of the Hopedale office for National Grid.
Okay, Jeff, you want to tell us about the project?
They will be removing the existing transformer on pole 2 and installing a pole in between pole 2 and pole 3, which that transformer that feeds the existing customers will be installed at. And then from that point on, they're going to put another set of capacitor banks at pole 2 in replacing of the transformer that's there.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Any other members of the public speaking in favor? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Are there any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Any public speaking in opposition? Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Any members of the public speaking in opposition? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Are there any questions from the city councilors? Questions from the city councilors? Any questions from the city councilors? Hearing none, I close that portion of the public hearing. Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Hearing no objections or abutters concerned, I'm going to motion, Mr. President, that we approve the petition subject to the conditions submitted by the city engineer, Tom DePercio. So my motion is to approve.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the petition with the conditions submitted by the city engineer. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The petition is approved, 11-0 with the conditions identified by the city engineer. Thank you, Jeff. Agenda item number 3.
Disclosure of financial interest from Councilor Mark Vital regarding request for approval pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 268A, Section 20B, to provide services to the school department as a municipal employee.
Councilor Vital.
Mr. President, I'd like to be recluse, please.
Please let the record reflect that Councilor Vital will not be participating. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilor Vital will be working with the solicitor to resubmit paperwork at a future meeting. So for this particular paperwork, I'm going to move to accept and place on file.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from Councilor Vital. Any comments or questions? And just as a point of information for the councilors, this is new territory for us, so we want to make it sure that's okay. So I've had discussions with Councilor Vital to work with the legal department. So you'll probably see it on our next agenda. So any discussion on the motion to accept and place on file? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? It is accepted and placed on file by a vote of 10-0, 1 abstain. Agenda item number 4.
Communication from the mayor regarding capital bond request totaling $10,270,000, which includes various reconstruction of streets and other projects as outlined in the communication.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer back to the mayor to put into proper form, please.
Motion made and seconded, refer back to the mayor's office to put back in proper form. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, are those in favor? Opposed? It's going back to be put in proper form, 11-0. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the mayor regarding a transfer request in the amount of $70,000 from the undesignated fund to capital outlay for the purchase of equipment for the new E1 Class A fire engine.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank Chief Breen and Mayor Dumas. Motion to approve the transfer request in the amount of $70,000, please.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer request for $70,000 to fit up our new fire truck. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, are those in favor? Opposed? The motion carries, 11-0. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptance in the amount of $75,000 from the Cummings Foundation awarded to the Senior Center to be used to fund a chef to manage the kitchen and lunch program at the Senior Center.
Councilor Irish.
Mr. President, motion to approve the grant, please.
Motion made and seconded to approve the grant. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Oram.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. First and foremost, thank you to Trish Pope, the director, for getting this grant, but I just wanted to speak quickly that it really entails, and we'll see it on our next agenda item, the need for seniors to have at least sufficient food and lunches and so forth. So I'm very happy to see both these items being hopefully being passed. And again, food insecurity is a very serious situation, and obviously if we can help our seniors in any way, this is a great opportunity. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Any other discussion on the motion to approve the grant? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The grant is approved, 11-0. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding grant acceptance in the amount of $1,500 from the Metro West Food Collaborative awarded to the Senior Center to be used to offset costs associated with the lunch program.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant, please.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the grant. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The grant is approved, 11-0. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from the mayor regarding notification of temporary appointment pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 61A of M.J. Spagone as interim city collector, assistant director of finance for a 60-day term to expire July 27, 2024.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, are those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed, 11-0. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from the mayor regarding the appointment of M.J. Spagone as city collector, assistant director of finance for a 2-year term effective from date of council confirmation.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to refer to the Personnel Committee.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Personnel Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, are those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Personnel, 11-0. Agenda item number 10.
Communication from the mayor regarding the capital improvement plan for fiscal years 24 to 28.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Finance Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I noticed the last item in it, we had a large jump in 28 to work on the water systems. I hope that gets clarified. This is just a heads up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are correct. Well, this, again, councilors, this is your opportunity to kind of provide the mayor with feedback. When it comes up in finance, we'll get those questions answered.
Yep.
You are correct, Councilor Doucette. On the motion to refer to the Finance Committee, any further discussion? Seeing none, are those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Finance, 11-0. Agenda item number 11.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding the amended site plan for JW Capital Partners LLC for a mixed-use project at 57 Main Street in the Marlborough Village District in proper legal form. Order number 2224-100-8694.
Councilor Preciado.
Thank you. I'd like to recuse myself in this. Thank you.
We'll let the record reflect that Councilor Preciado will not be participating. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept the communication from the solicitor and to move the site plan down to agenda number 19.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication from the solicitor and to move this item down to agenda item number 19. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is going to be filed and moved to number 19 by a vote of 10-0-1. Agenda item number 12.
Communication from City Solicitor Jason Grossfield regarding an executed copy of the settlement agreement and intermunicipal agreement for wastewater treatment and disposal with the town of Northborough.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication.
Motion made and second to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 11-0. Agenda item number 13.
Communication from Central Mass Mosquito Control Project regarding personnel will be in the community responding to residents' concerns about mosquitoes on various dates in June 2024.
Councilor Orem.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate being recognized. But in all seriousness, too, this has been a warm winter this past year, and they're very, from my avenues, I deal with public health on a regular basis. They're concerned. So this notice here is about the fact you can call Central Mass Mosquito Control and ask for services if you're already having issues with mosquitoes. I know I have a few in my yard, but again, most important thing, don't keep any standing water around. And again, if you want service, you can call Central Mass Mosquito, which leads to the city clerk. I am sure he will post this on his site so everyone knows how to reach out to Central Mass. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Orem. On the motion to accept and place on file the communication, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 11-0. Agenda item number 14.
Petition of Mass Electric and Verizon New England to install one joint-owned pole at 100 Lock Drive at a point approximately 1,256 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of Elm Street, installing new pole 7-50, which will be 45 feet between poles 7 and 8. A new KVR cap bank will be installed on this pole.
Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. My motion would be to schedule a date for a public hearing.
Motion made and seconded to set a public hearing for this item for June 17th. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? We'll have a public hearing on that poll location on June 17th. The vote is 11-0. Agenda item number 15.
Application for a wireless special permit from Kristen Ledoux on behalf of Dish Wireless to install 3 wireless antennas and related equipment on the rooftop at 157 Union Street.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please note I will be recusing myself from this.
Please let the record reflect that Councilor Roby will not be participating in this item. Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, right here, my motion would be to refer to Public Services, also set a date for a public hearing, and advertise.
Motion's been made and seconded to refer to Public Service. We'll set a public hearing for July 22nd, and we will advertise. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It carries 10 in favor with 1 abstained. Agenda item 16.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President?
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the school committee report for May 14th, 2024.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed, 11-0. Agenda item 17.
Claims.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to send claims to legal department.
Motion made and seconded to send the claims to the legal department. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Claims are going to legal, 11-0. Reports of committees. Anybody have anything? There were no committee meetings. Anybody want to make any announcements? You don't have to. Councilor Irish.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask for a suspension this evening to remove order number 24-100-9170 from the Finance Committee, please.
Then a motion made and seconded to ask for a suspension to remove order number 9170 from the Finance Committee, which is the revolving funds. On the suspension, all those in favor? Opposed? Suspension carries 11-0. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the reauthorization of the revolving funds for FY 2025, please.
Motion made and seconded to approve the 4 revolving funds for fiscal year 2025. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The revolving funds are approved, 11-0. Any additional discussions or motions from the committee or council? Hearing none. Agenda item 18.
Order number 24-100, 9156, proposed ordinance amendment to Chapter 125 to delete Section 10C, granting the mayor authority to waive any two steps of the salary schedule, and to also delete Section 18A4, allowing the mayor the authority to grant an additional week of vacation time effective at the time of employment for all non-union personnel, submitted by Councilor Ossling. Recommendation of the Personnel Committee is to approve.
Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move the recommendation of committee.
Motion's been made and seconded to move the recommendation of the committee, which is to approve the ordinance change. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Excuse me. I'm the one that voted against this. I think that this is, as was discussed in the Personnel Committee, if you're working towards negotiating with people with, decade or more of experience, these are able to negotiate better terms when it comes to hiring someone. There is a report that's in place to try to look at overall what our compensation packages are, and I think this is needs to get addressed as part of that. And one of the comments was basically, we have to watch every penny for the stockholders, and it's a job, and it's true that with municipalities, you got to check for every penny for the taxpayers, but there's also in capitalism shareholder value, and people who think that the only metric for business is shareholder value is also missing the point. I think it's important that you have multiple metrics to address the effectiveness of any enterprise, whether or not it's profit, nonprofit, municipal, or whatever. And I think that it's important that we provide the mayor some flexibility to negotiate better terms. I do wish that he tells us when it happens, okay, which he just nodded his head up and down about. I think that that's something that we can work with. I think this is, at this point, I'd rather wait to see what the full report comes back with as far as compensation and not get rid of it at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Councilor Vital.
Thank you, Mr. President. What many of you know is I spent an awful lot of time in human resources, and one of the most frustrating things that used to drive me crazy is when I had a great applicant and I'd go to make them an offer and they just took a job at another location. And I penny, a little bit late on that. So though I want to go forward cautiously, I'd like to trust our mayor to make the right decisions, to keep us informed, and give him a little bit of autonomy in being able to hire people quickly. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Vital. Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. I concur with the past two speakers, and I mentioned this at the meeting we had on this matter, personnel meeting. We have a lot to do, and I'm sure our new HR director, who was here a couple of years ago, knows that as well. So I'm hoping all these type of opportunities get enrolled into her review of attracting good personnel to the city of Marlborough. We're very fortunate that we have good personnel here right now, and to continue to attract them, we're going to need to make sure we have the necessary tools and so forth. I was just reading today just some of the salary reviews. They're doing them right now in, I think, the Metro West Daily News, and we need to more or less pay very close attention, because I can promise you the employees will go elsewhere if they see a better opportunity. So we need to get working on it, and I'm hoping HR will start working on that program. But right now I cannot support this request, Mr. President. I'm apologizing to you, but it's just my review and my opinion of it. I don't want you to take it in any way, but I cannot support this as written. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Any other discussion? If I could ask Councilor Roby to please take the chair.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Councilor Ossing.
Thank you, Madam President. So this ordinance change really restores council approval authority to waiving steps and adding vacation days. It's what we've always had. The ordinance should not have been changed in 2021. Councilor Roby, you were correct back in 2021 when you voted against the ordinance change. Recently, the mayor sent out an email to 3,000 people stating, and I quote, "The mayor believes this change was both politically and personally motivated and would make it close to impossible for the city to recruit talented, experienced managers and staff," unquote. This could not be further from the truth. First, it's not politically motivated or personal, and I've had this discussion with the mayor. Just because the city council does not agree with the mayor does not make it personal or political. The mayor's email is just not true. The council does not have to agree with every position of the mayor. Second, the mayor is taking advantage of an ordinance and abusing the ordinance by waiving steps and adding vacation days for his first 4 hires, which were his friends and confidants. That should be concerning. Finally, it's not making it close to impossible to hire staff, as the mayor just hired the city collector. The information the mayor emailed to his 3,000 followers was just not correct. This is not what the ordinance change was intended for. As Councilor Navin accurately stated in the Personnel Committee, the implementation of the ordinance was for extraordinary circumstances. None of those were. The 4 hires were not extraordinary circumstances, not time-dependent, and there was plenty of time to send it down the information of the City Council for timely review and discussion. The Council can meet within 48 hours if there was an immediate pressing issue that cannot wait until a regular scheduled meeting. We've done that. We've shown we can do that. That's not a challenge. All right? So there is no issue with the timely action by the City Council. I urge the City Councilors to support the Personnel Committee's recommendation, which was to approve the ordinance change and restore the City Council approval authority for waiving steps and adding vacation. City Councilors should vote to approve this ordinance change, and I thank you, Madam President. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Is there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, this is a ordinance change, so it's required to go through the 4 steps of an ordinance change. All those in favor of suspending the first reading and approving the second reading? All those in favor, please signify by standing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is approved. All those in favor of the passage to be enrolled, please stand again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is approved. All those in favor of the passage to be ordained, please signify by standing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is approved. Is there any objection to passage in one evening? Seeing none, the ordinance is approved. Agenda item 19.
Order number 22-24-100, 8694F, communication from David Roach, P.E. of Procopio Companies on behalf of Marlborough TOTG and JW Capital Partners LLC to amend the site plan decision for the mixed-use project located at 57 Main Street in the Marlborough Village District. Recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee is to approve as amended.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I'm sorry,
Mr.
Councilor
Chair,
Presiano.
Sorry, I'd like to state for the record that I need to recuse myself on this matter.
Please let the record reflect that Councilor Presiano will be recusing from participating. Councilor Roby.
Move the recommendation of committee, which is to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve the recommendation of the Urban Affairs Committee, which is to approve the site plan for 57 Main Street. Is there any discussion on the motion? Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President, which I am in favor of the approval, but I just wanted to reiterate what I mentioned during the meeting of Urban Affairs. I'm not a member of Urban Affairs, but I'm very concerned about what's happening right now in Marlborough with 2 major developments, and it relates to the contractors' parking. Where are the contractors going to park? And hopefully during their process of going through the special permit, that will be addressed. But I want to go on the record that that needs to be addressed because it's very congested wherever they're building right now, and this is one of those areas. So hopefully they'll talk to their neighbors and work out something where they can find parking for the contractors during the process. But outside of that, I'm in favor of this request.
Thank you, Councilor Landers.
Thank you, Mr. President. I happen to ride around up there, and I think what you'll see happening, Councilor Oram, I think the church has some parking there. That's what IC did. If you go by IC, they probably have 75 to 90 cars parked there every day, and there are 2 lots there. And I think that's what you'll see, that when the construction starts and the workers are there, they will probably park in the church parking lot there. I'd be comfortable with that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Landers. Anyone else for us? Councilor Roby.
Thank you. He may have just simply misspoke, but there is no special permit. This is site plan only. So any discussion on where they park may happen when they do their pre-construction meeting.
Councilor Oram.
And I stand corrected. I was trying to think site plan, not special permit, so thank you, Councilor Roby. This is down near 2 other businesses not up near the church, so I don't know if that can be arranged with IC. That would be, they'd have to walk.
Not IC, the other church that's
Unitarian.
on Bolton Street.
Oh,
Unitarian.
yeah, and they have limited parking. But again, site plan.
This project isn't as big as some of the other projects.
Easy, Councilor Landers. Councilor Oram has the
I just
floor.
hope it gets addressed in site plan where it belongs, and hopefully we can be good to our neighbors down on that side of the city to make sure parking from the contractors does not become an issue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Councilor Navin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just real quick before this moves further, I was one of the folks that voted against this project, so I did want to rise to say a couple of things. When we started going through this process, you know, the large concern when I was serving as the Ward 6 councilor was the parking in the Bolton Street lot and what it would actually impact as part of it. You know, we held ground. Councilor Roby, as chair of Urban, really did a phenomenal job of trying to approve something that was going to take the points of view of the council into effect. And I still could not approve it or vote for it in that regard because I didn't think it went far enough. Though with her scalpel, she really did her best to get there. I think before we take a vote on this, I think it's really important that the council recognizes and that people at home recognize that, you know, we do take a lot of thought and consideration when you go into these projects. And just because we vote no does not mean that we are not for these projects. And just because we disagree with the developers, it does not mean that we don't want something to go through. We just want to make sure that the city benefits as much as possible and as much as the developers are benefiting. We heard time and again that 28 parking spaces on site was all that the development could afford. And it had to be the number of units it is. And yet, after some give and take, led by the chair, we were able to see a project that has all of the required parking on site. We were able to see less units. It will be taller marginally, but it will not go up another story, and it will have less units in it. This is what the city council can do. I encourage everybody to pat yourselves on the back. Is it perfect? No, no project is. But we were able, I think, to be able to build a project that will have less impacts in the negative sense and more benefits for downtown. So I am happy to be voting in favor of this. I am happy that I voted against it the first time. And I would just like to, again, thank the chair and everybody who worked on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Navin. Any other councilors have any comments on the motion to approve the site plan for 57 Main Street? All those in favor? Opposed? The site plan is approved. 10 in favor, 1 abstained. Are there any other items before the council? Councilor Doucette.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned at 8:29.